Why do we need to have sex education in kids? And how should we do it? Let's find out in today's episode. Hi, this is Amar, and you're listening to Entertainment Cube. Hey, welcome to episode 14 of the podcast. And thank you for listening in so far. Really good response to the Sujay Ghosh trilogy, the podcast special that I did. In case you haven't heard, please go back and listen to those episodes. I would really love to receive your feedback on that. Now, I wanted to cover a very important topic today, which is about sex education. And now, I know that the word sex is taboo or we don't discuss it openly in India. So, it's really crucial that the kids know about it and they know through their parents. There are times when kids are really, really inquisitive about things, and we as parents would just try and kill that inquisitiveness by telling them the really, I would say, for the lack of better word, irrelevant or improper answer to the questions they ask. So when you have the second child, obviously your first kid would ask that question, how are kids born? Or if they look around and ask that question, the most common answer that's given is kids are God's gift. Wow. And that's something that would initiate multiple other things. We do have a good amount of ads of condoms coming on TV, and that's where when those come in or the sanitary napkins ad come in, either the channels are flipped or we start looking around. So these are a delicate topic, and kids who are at a delicate age, like I would say 7 to 12, because beyond that, once they enter the teens, clearly they would know, see, and do much more. But if we have given them a right education, they would be better prepared and they would have a right amount of knowledge. Now, this is where a great web series comes into play by Y Films. Okay, so Y Films, as we know, is the younger, or I would say the poor, younger and poor, let me use that word, brother of Yashraj Films, and they are involved into mainly budget films, and they forayed into the web series when the whole online thing came in a couple of years ago, and then for whatever reason it fizzled out in 2016. So I have been anxiously waiting for their next set of web series to come out because they had a great production value, and considering the banner of Yashraj Films, they were able to invest good money and get some good actors to work in these web series. So the series in review today is Sex Chat with Pappu and Papa. It has Anand Tiwari, Sachin Pilgaonkar, Sanjeeda Shaikh, Kabir Sajid in the lead role. Okay, so the main thing, as I mentioned, is the sensitivity with which topics like masturbation, pregnancy, condoms, periods, and homosexuality are covered in this series. For a kid who is just about 7 years and reads the word mental masturbation. He understands the word mental, but then how do you explain the word masturbation? And that's where all these topics, all the five topics that I mentioned, are covered with a very simple analogy by his father, and very creative analogies, I must say, of cricket, of technology, and things around us. Okay, the entire credit, I would say, goes to the brilliant writing that's done by Gopal Datt, Devang Kakkad, and obviously the overall concept and the overall storyline development by Anand Tiwari himself and Amritpal Bindra. This web series is directed by Ashish Patil, and the whole thing works out as the father son relationship is played in the truthful way by Anand Tiwari and Kabir Sajid. And the entire humor is obviously created by Sachin Pilgaonkar. So whenever there is this conversation happening, you see the kal, aaj, or kal scenario playing out in front of you, where the the youngest generation, which is the grandson or the son, asks the question to his father. That's Kabir Sajid asking the question to Anand Tiwari about these topics. And whenever Anand Tiwari is opening his mouth, he clearly sees Mogambo, which he likes to call his father, appearing in front of him. Now, obviously, it's imaginary, it's fictional, but then clearly the father is saying, "Hey, do not say this. How can you say this? Please don't talk about this." But clearly, the father doesn't hold back. And that's the whole theme, that हम कुछ गंदी बात नहीं कर रहे हैं. We are not doing anything wrong. We are giving that education so that kids basically know and they are informed, they are aware. And I think that's the part I loved about this entire series, where the 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 son actually asks for condoms, and Sachin Pilgaonkar says that, "Hey, do not tell him." And Anand Tiwari tells him that, "Do you know how I got to know about it?" And I, when I didn't know, I found it on the road, and I had tried to fill the balloon or make a balloon out of it. So clearly, that's the importance of this education. Now, the other important part that we must know is these topics and the audience that they have in mind. They need to make sure that it's covered in a very delicate way and not a vulgar way. And this is where the story, credits, and everything, it's basically the entire concept is covered in a nice, funny way, but at the same time, it gets the meaning across, be it the analogy of male female sex being covered by the file transfer that happens from the computer to USB or to the mobile phone, or the analogy of cricket when it talks about masturbation. And that's something which is the sheer brilliance. There are also small little nuances that are taken care of really well, like the most renowned sexologist in India is Mahinder Vats, and that's the last name of the family. The other thing that Y Films tried in this, they did a crossover. So prior to this web series, they had three other web series, which is the very popular Bang Baja Barat. Then it's Men's World, and They also had the third one, which is ladies' room. So the characters, they come over in the different episodes and they kind of further the stories. But yeah, that's more like why films trying to just show the star power. Main recommendation for me is I really urge you to watch this series and watch it with your kids, who obviously not with a 2 year, 3 year, 5 year, but ideally I would say 6 years and above, when they've started understanding, or there are times when they ask you those questions. I think it's good enough to share these things with them, or you watch it and then you would know how we can bring in the references and show them something with an analogy. So, a big thumbs up, and this show has been so popular that they translated into multiple languages like Bengali, Telugu, Tamil, Kannada. So, once again, heads off to the entire team. Really love the series. Please let me know if you have watched this show. What is your feedback about this show? And hey, most important thing, do not forget to watch after the episode is over. The show covers the important facts of the topic they are covering. So, the masturbation related facts, what are some of the myths and what are the real things? They also have a fun song that they have created at the end of each one. So, do not miss that. It's really fun in terms of the knowledge also and the overall encapsulation. So, please let me know if you love this podcast, share, subscribe, and keep listening. Thanks again for your time. Really appreciate it. And I would come with another episode on a short film by Sujoy Ghosh called Ahalya. So, talk to you soon.